Three of these, and they, each was like 30 minutes to an hour. I think the first was like 30. The first was 20 minutes. The second was 40. The second was 50, and the last one was 40. And the last two were pretty good, and they just didn't upload correctly. One of them, the audio wasn't working when I played it back, so that failed. And the last one, I think the recording just stopped, and I didn't even notice it. So it's, I don't know how it works, but it was really shameful. Very, very shameful. Anyway, I'm going to play this game, and I think for the first 20 minutes, I'm just going to play it. No talking, really. No, I'm not going to talk much. And then the next 20 will be me just talking. And the last 20 will be music videos, and I'll kind of comment here and there on that. So let's get started. I'm going to do the assault class, because that's where the medals are applied to the assault class. Yeah, that's a good one. Yep. Okay, here goes. I hate conquering or capturing, because I get points for like something that everyone else actually did. I didn't earn any of it, like that. I didn't earn any of that. Saw that coming, but I didn't do a thing about it because I don't know really. Truth be told, I'm pretty bad at this game if you haven't figured it out. It's 9 o'clock at night, and just drinking coffee. Okay. A responsible choice. something I'm learning is that I can't like ever be out in the open in this game. It just never ends well. See, even these guys, like, they run for a brief sec and then they fall to the floor. Okay, so in my biology course today, it was like the second day, and the teacher, there was nothing to talk about except, really there was nothing to talk about. So the teacher had us discuss, because it's somewhat of a small class, and community college, you know, and fuck, and a lot of the kids in there, I'm a little bit older than them, not a lot, but like a little bit older, and a lot of them are like 18, 19, you know, some of them I think are, I hope, are 20 or older, like I am, but they only kind of wanted to talk about, like, they didn't want to learn about biology, like, in the proper sense, proper meaning. They kind of just wanted to talk about, like, the biology of drugs, you know, like, you know, the pharmacology of addiction kind of things, although they didn't put it in nice terms like that. They kind of like, they're like, oh, what's heroin? I want to know about heroin. Morphine? Oh, what's morphine? Oh, mo. Or like, cocaine? Huh, tell me about cocaine. And the teacher, you know, bless her heart, she kind of like just answered all the questions, and it seemed cool with them asking that. And I wasn't cool with it. I was kind of like muttering about it angrily in the back, or in the side rather. Anyway, but she answered that one person asked, because she was saying they were talking about heroin, and she said that heroin's an opioid. And one person asked, okay, let me steer. One person asked, is cocaine an opioid, or something? It was actually dumber sounding than that. But the teacher, I thought would give her the answer. The teacher said, no, cocaine's an amphetamine, and like just left it at that. And I was like, you know what? Cocaine is definitely not an amphetamine. And I kind of looked at it on my iPhone because I didn't want to just be wrong about it. And yeah, I was right. Cocaine wasn't an amphetamine, and it was something called like a torpain alkaloid is the term. You know, still a stimulant, but definitely not an amphetamine. Like, it's not meth or, you know, speed, you know, crank or speed. So I didn't want to embarrass the teacher, so after class I kind of frustratedly, you know, told her that amphetamine's not cocaine, or cocaine's not an amphetamine, and she just kind of like didn't acknowledge anything. Like, she acknowledged it, but she didn't comment, and I was like, oh, so like she just thinks that I'm like this guy who just got out of rehab and is like annoyingly like pestering, like, you know, uptight about drugs, you know, as if like all my friends died from coke abuse, and it wasn't something to be taken lightly. And it kind of irked me because I realized, like, this woman was not that much older than me, you know. Yeah, she had more degrees than I did, but like, she made a basic mistake, and I didn't want to embarrass her, so I told her after class. And I kind of feel like she would be a little more like appreciative about it, but she kind of gave me like that whole like the status thing where like she kind of used her status to like avoid, you know, I don't know, where I come from, someone corrects you on your shit, you thank them because you don't want to be wrong, right? But I think from her it was like, oh, she thought I was just like trying to like, you know, infringe on her status, let alone like just kind of irately, you know, being this drug guy who irately was like, you know, calling her out on her bullshit, right? So I think that was a problem. Anyway, so it's funny. It was just funny because I tried to be like cool and like helpful, and then I ended up just seeming like a fucking drug addict dickhead, which is funny because I don't really have any involvement with the drug. I knew something she didn't, but it didn't really help me in the end, you know. Even if, I don't know, maybe, you know, I think at the end of the day I was kind of trying to prove something, and she could see that, and so she just didn't like acknowledge it the way I wanted it to be acknowledged, or not, or not. Dude, I'm just shooting these horses because when I play, this is my favorite. This is like my favorite Battlefield game for aesthetic reasons. I actually don't really like the gameplay that much, but the aesthetic, I love the aesthetic, and I love the history, and I guess the historical aesthetic. You know, that's what I love about it. But see, there's not. For me, there's never really a clear way to win at this without feeling like I'm cheating. And that's what I don't like, is that, like, yeah, I could get in like a vehicle, or I could just like camp or something, or maybe use a horse all the time, you know, because horses are overpowered. But I just want to be a soldier, and I want to be a good soldier. And I think that that is like kind of a recipe for failure, because I'm just not, I'm overthinking it probably. I'm just not cut out for it. Anyway, I'm going to get back to it, because I've got 10 more minutes before I'm officially allowed to talk, so, sorry. I die a lot. That was unfair. So I held my breath for the better part of 20 minutes there. Still hope you can hear me. I never really know when I'm broadcasting, but you know, I'm realizing that I actually did better when I was just talking and playing a little bit, like, underneath. And now that when I decide to play the game and not talk, I just somehow didn't have it in me. You know, but I don't blame myself because I don't know. Doing this broadcasting stuff makes the screen smaller, and because there's like a panel that comes up that reminds me that I'm live, right? So I don't feel I feel like the screen's smaller, and that makes me like perform less well, right? But it's probably not true, and I'm probably just making a bad excuse. Anyway, I'm gonna talk now because silence is important, and I'd like to do it as a meditation, but I made 3 of these today that ended up not, like, flopping completely. So I'm going to try to get my word in finally. All I'll say is that you know what it is with these videos. If I exit out of the game, I think the video kind of stops, or the recording stops. Like if I go into YouTube, the recording stops. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to get my phone charged and then play the music in through the microphone, which is really not a good recipe for anything. But okay, so this assault class is not my least favorite class. The scout class is my least favorite. This is probably my third. It's the second least favorite, my third favorite, whatever you want, class. And it's because the weapons really don't have any range. It's all short, and a lot of this game is about mid-range killing. And, depending on your playstyle, right? Like, some people snipe. That's all they do is snipe. But I don't do that. I try to do the mid-range stuff. More power to me. Anyway, this is short-range class. And this is a good gun because it's got a lot of ammo, but, like... And this is a better map than the last one because I'm kind of, there's more hills, better cover everywhere, but... Having to fight at range is hard, man. On that last map, because that map was just a battlefield on a slant. It was like a slanted battlefield. See, that was kind of a mid-range kill, and this gun didn't really help that much. But I did better. I got more I was more accurate than I would have been in the last game. But yeah, of course, that guy waited and killed me. And the reason I didn't do anything about it because I just don't have the it's not the patience. It's like, or it's I don't know. I keep trying to figure out why I'm not like on the top of this because I have friends who I have some friends. I have a lot of friends who are better than me at this, and then I have a few. I only have one friend though who was like super good at it, and it kind of blew me away. But most of my friends are just kind of better than me plainly at first-person shooters, and so I kind of can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. I just can't really figure it out, but. Like, am I somehow just trying to like make them like keep them up, like on the pedestal, and just like I don't want to like overcome, I don't know. It seems kind of pathetic. I don't think I'm that pathetic, but I've been playing this so much. I feel like I should get better at it. Now, to be fair, I did get 2 kills and I'm still alive, but that's nothing compared to some. And I just jinxed myself, okay. See, I don't like these I don't like conquering because I just feel like they're giving me points that like allow me to rank up, and ranking up it makes ranking up too easy, and I feel like ranking up really should be earned like the old-fashioned way, right? Like like the honest way. And so I like to neutralize them, but I'm gonna get out of here before they give me the credit for the capturing of it because okay, see. These guys are a bitch. They're really fun to kill when you kill them, but they're hard to kill because they take a lot. They're just, like they see. I think that was 3 kills. See, not so bad. But that guy, he really was trying to run at me, and he failed because he's a dumb fuck. God damn, dude. How do I See, now I should heal, right? Because that last guy, he got me, heal, and then the other at half health. It was way too far. So I think left in the wind. So, or he didn't. I don't know. All right. This is a fun game. This gun, by the way, I don't think it had a lot of there was a lot of people who it's like the most essential early gun for the assault class, which is a big deal. Anyway, and then of course you got this Toshin pistol, or it's not, it's the hammerless 1903 or something. And that gun was probably used in World War II or World War I, rather, the Great War. But there's a game called Verdun. It's also available on the PlayStation Network and Xbox, probably, presumably. And it's a limited game, and it's a lot more boring in terms of the game kind of I guess the rules of engagement and the mechanics and the technologies and stuff. But it's so much more accurate. And if you want that tried and true World War I experience, which I wouldn't even call it an experience at that level because it's so boring, god-awfully boring. But if you want it, you can get it in Verdun, and it's an inexpensive, it's an affordable package. I think it's only like $10, $20 for the game. I'm actually probably going to get it because I really do want a faithful recollection of the World War I experience. Anyway, but this game's fun because they really show you the best, the highlights, and they kind of mass produce the highlights of World War I for you in a fictional virtual setting. But let's see. Oh god. There was like 3 of them, but you can only see one at a time. I should have just not fucked it up, but it's like pool, man. I went to play pool today, and for about an hour, and to be fair, I was playing against a guy who was better than me, but like kind of even, but like not that much better than me, or it wasn't, you know what it was? He didn't make me feel bad for not being as good as, which is perfect for a pool match, right? For billiards, perfect, and any sport. And I did that for an hour, and I kind of realized I just kind of felt awful all the fucking time. Like, I just never feel like I'm improving at these. I mean, that's what sports is, though. It's like just never feeling like you're any good at it, and then one day you wake up and you're better than half the people. That guy's a friendly. That guy's an enemy. Sometimes I really do have to remind myself. Okay, bombs. I love the cufflinks on the glove. I mean that is. I mean, my guy has a cape. If you see the shadows, my dude's running around with a cape. You know, this is why I like World War I. Oh god, it's a gas. Oh, that guy's gonna kill me. Yeah, so the current goal is to get pistol headshots. I had 1. I need 4 more, which isn't really that hard. I get tactically speaking, but strategically speaking, it's hard on this map because it's a large map, and there's not a lot of close quarter CQB, right? You got CQC, close quarters combat. So the CQC is limited and so that means the TTK time to kill on the gun is limited as well. Is what's the phraseology? You know, it's limited and it is accordingly as well, or accordingly. It is just so limited accordingly. Also limited accordingly. It is limited as accordingly. Nah, I don't know. I don't think the English language is. I don't think it's invented in English. It's probably something. It's probably in German. There's something like it, but not in English. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting out of here. See, I don't. There's a guy here though. I don't like taking these, man. It's credit where it wasn't earned. You know, it's a coward's way. It's a coward's victory. Coward's earning. What movie did I just watch? Oh god, get the fuck out of here. It's shooting me in the back. Oh. I just watched this movie. It was I'm watching a lot of Hitchcock movies. I mean, I've watched probably 5 in like the last month, you know, and and I'm pretty picky, you know, about movies. Like I only watch what I want to watch. So that's pretty good if I actually watch them. If I actually fulfilled the quests or whatever. Yeah, one was Psycho, which is I mean, it had its dull moments. I kind of skipped through the lulls a few times, but I got most of it. I got scenes. I paused at like long scenes and I watched through it. And if I missed anything, I didn't really miss a lot. So I say I watched it, but you know, I don't. You know, technically, I didn't keep my eyes on it, every little panel. Anyway, it was really watchable. I mean, obviously, it wasn't like, I don't know. It's like it's one of those movies that like you don't want to call like one of the best movies ever because it's you don't want to call it one of the best movies because it's you know the whole plot already and it's not fresh to you. But then you kind of remember it well. Like it sticks in my head really well. I mean, maybe like, you know, any other good horror movie from the early 2000s would do the same, like The Grudge or The Ring, or you know, or the 90s like the Scream series or something like that. John Carpenter's, you know, Halloween. You go back even further, right? But Friday the 13th is a little bit after, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street. Maybe all that was. I don't watch a lot of horror, so maybe that's why I find it so immersive. I guess it would. Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's immersive. And so I find it, it's an immersive movie, and so I kind of find it to be, I don't watch horror. I think horror is immersive, and so I found it to be more immersive than what I'm used to. That aside, I saw Vertigo. I couldn't get into it, so I kind of skipped around, and I just kind of looked up the video of the ending, so I didn't really see it, but I honestly wasn't impressed. It's ranked as like the #1 film of all time by Sight and Sound, and I think they kind of like, you know, did that to like, it's like, I think that was like, I don't know, that was like a kind of a fake out thing they did to like seem obscurantist, you know what I mean? Like, we think this is, they picked a movie that no one thinks is the best movie as the best movie so that people like doubt themselves is what they did. But I can't, you know, but anyone with half a brain can see through it. Anyway, I also saw this one movie. I forget a lot of them. I saw like 3 others. One I watched all the way through was in the 70s. It was like one of his last movies, and it was about this like rapist who like frames his friend, and his friend is running from the law, and the rapist is like kind of running from the law, and then you know, he gets caught and that kind of thing. And it was for a Hitchcock, it was really engaging, and I kind of forgot it was even a Hitchcock movie. Another movie I saw was the one about, it was about a jewel thief, and it was filmed in like the south of France, in like, you know, Nice or someplace, and it was kind of like really well made. Like it was like a James Bond movie about an American. But you know, to be honest, it kind of got really slow, and I realized that like it wasn't gonna have the action of a James Bond movie, so it sort of failed at being the James Bond movie that I thought it would be. Anyway, he's kind of he was fortunate because he was kind of early into the film history when like a lot of movies hadn't been made yet. So like he could introduce entirely new styles, but like he didn't have to like perfect them. And that's kind of like what I think he's like, why he's like so like prominent among like film theorists and like in so many film classes and stuff taught at schools, right? But I mean, he made like 50 movies, you know. He made a lot for but he also didn't win a ton of Academy Awards. Oh my god. Yeah, I think they're saying that my gameplay footage is going to go on. So I saw another one. I saw the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, or yeah, and that was like 1919 or something, and it's like a German expressionist, like set design. A good movie, not at the level that everyone claims it is. I think they just like the kind of like the gothic appearance of it, but. It was I mean it's memorable, it's distinctive. I liked it actually. I liked it a little bit more than I thought I would. Not much more, but a little bit more. Anyway, there was and then I was gonna kind of watch the one M by Fritz Lang, which is another German movie, but I didn't really get into it. It seemed a little bit too predictable, you know. They the synopsis I read, I watched it. I watched the video synopsis. It kind of told me everything. It spoiled it. So yeah, that happened. Like what the heck? Yeah. So I don't know. I saw an older Hitchcock movie that I pretty much watched all the way through. It was kind of a murder mystery. But really, it was like a closed set, one room kind of murder mystery. I've yet to watch North by Northwest. I feel like I feel like I'm kind of burned out on Hitchcock though, so I'll have to wait. But I also have to watch Rear Window is what it's called. Kind of burned out, so I don't want to watch it. And there's probably 4 other movies I'll inevitably watch. The thing is, and I saw an interview with him from the '60s with and he seemed like a kind of a remarkable guy, distinguished, very pompous, very very fat too. People underplay how fat he was. Also, he was really old, and apparently he would after the movies, after he was done shooting for the day, he would go home to see his wife, whereas everyone else would hang out and have fun and party and then drink and get wild, get wild and crazy. He didn't do any of that. He just went home to his wife at 5. So he's kind of a boring person. But his movies were there's not a lot of there's not the thing is that he made so many movies. So no matter what you think of him, in terms of overall value, he kind of can't argue with a guy who's made 50 movies when Spielberg has only made 20, right? And I kind of, I won't say, I don't know if I'll say I'll like the movie more than Spielberg, because that's I don't know if I could say that in full honesty, but I saw The Shawshank Redemption, and I kind of it was more boring than, it was a lot more boring than I thought it would be. And the Hitchcock movie was a lot less boring than I thought it would be. And so you can tell that I kind of get the feeling that how old the movie is. Because the Shawshank was in the 90s, and Hitchcock movies, let's say, were in the 50s, right? Let's say on average, right? The oldness of the movie doesn't really have that much impact on how entertaining it is. So that was kind of a wake-up call. But I mean, if I could if I had to shoot, if I was given this pistol right here, and they had Alfred Hitchcock and Spielberg, and they're you have to shoot one and save the other, I'd shoot Spielberg. Because, or and I know he made Indiana Jones, but I'd still shoot him because I just find that those Hitchcock movies, they somehow they mattered to me more on like a far level. The world wouldn't change at all had they. I mean, that's just my takeaway from it. One of my favorite directors. I'm going through the little list of directors I've seen, and I'm realizing that Brian De Palma is a lot better of a director than I thought he was. He's still not my favorite, and then I'm probably not even the top 5, but he's still he's better than I thought he was. And Tarantino is kind of, Scorsese. I mean, Tarantino is almost a guilty pleasure. I just kind of feel embarrassed that I even like his movies, but I do. And Scorsese a little bit like that, but less severe. The one that kind of disappointed me is Francis Ford Coppola, because Francis Ford Coppola, he made the and then he's so famous, but that was, to me, that's the only movie that really mattered by him. What else did he make? Yeah, Apocalypse Now, of course, but I did not get Apocalypse Now. I kind of that was anyway, but that's just my ill-informed amateur opinion. I'm saying a lot of uhs in this. Okay. So I like the Italian kind of stuff. I don't think it is, though. I think that was just me being movie, but I don't know if it's good. I don't know. What was it? Cocaine addiction, and by writing a film, he became his cocaine. And to me, that sort of makes me wonder if cocaine and screenwriting or cocaine and songwriting, really do go hand in hand. And we just kind of lost that. We lost touch with that because we're in this 21st century where cocaine is not the glamour drug it used to be. Not at least to the same, level where, even filmmakers are doing it on the regular basis. Anyway, at peak volume, at peak frequency, right? So that stuff coincided with cocaine, and then when cocaine went away, rock turned into grunge, rap became more prominent, and then rap kind of got kind of, I feel like rap a lot, most rap out now is Will Smith rap on some level or another. So I'm not really that pleased with the rap now, but it used to be a lot more special, a lot more vital. Anyway, yeah, so I'm finding myself liking Italian directors a lot, too much. So, and it might be a visual thing because all those Italian Renaissance painters or whatever, it might be something to do with that. So Scorsese, Tarantino, although these guys are loosely Italian too. Tarantino is his name's fucking Quentin. That's not an Italian name, but whatever works, right? And then De Palma, he might be Spanish or something. I mean, that might not even be Italian, but it's something about it. It's the passion. There's something passionate about these movies that I like. I don't like these neurotic, slightly homo, white guy flicks like Paul Thomas Anderson. And he's a a lovely director, but I just don't like the way he does everything. Everything he does is so neurotic and like kind of creepy, and like I just feel like he's like this pervert. And yeah, Quentin Tarantino has that same feeling, but at least it's like it's not something like beneath the cracks. Like he's just obviously a maniac, and that's just kind of funny. But with Paul Thomas Anderson, he's just this like creepy guy, you know, and it's like you can't really put your finger on it. Yeah, you might say sophisticated role, but to me, it just fucking like annoys me, or it bothers me. It's not a nuisance. It doesn't matter. What are we talking about? Yeah, my author. Like a male partner, you know, and then Bret Easton Ellis wrote American Psycho, and that's the only thing I read about him, but it was such a fantastic book. Page couldn't put left an impression. That book, that guy's also like, you know, has a gay male lover, you know, for years, right? It's like disturbing me that these guys are gay. You know, I don't even have a problem with gay people. Like, I'd still read their books. I'd still like, you know, I don't.
Estamos ganando.
I'll keep doing it if their books. But I just kind of like I can't read books but straight guys. So yeah, bias, but it's not as bad as like, you know, wishing that like I'm not trying. It's about 50 minutes. I talked a lot about beer in the other ones. I'll try to summarize everything. I think stouts are underrated. I appreciate them. I think they're better any time of the year, not just the winter. I like them when they have this comedic flavors like peanut butter or oatmeal or chocolate or coffee or any combination of the four or even more. You know, stouts are great. Porters are kind of like you know, the ugly duckling stepsister, the Cinderella or whatever of the stout. You know, so I'm not really into porters by experience. And amber ales, I tolerate them, but if I never really choose them. You know, I mean, like if they're handed to me, I like them, but I never actually seek them out. Lagers, I feel like lagers are better when it's just like when it's like Miller Lite. You know, it's like, I don't understand the whole craft lager phenomenon. It seems kind of like a rip-off. But with that said, I mean, you are getting your money's worth. The beers are going to be better. It's just that at the end of the day, you're drinking something that was invented for, like, you know, to drink. You're drinking something that was invented to be consumed in bulk. You know, no one ever invented the lager so they can sip one of them. You know, you're supposed to drink. You know, they're meant to be drinking by the dozen, right? But whereas a stout, you can kind of treat it like wine or a whiskey and drink like one or two, because it's hefty. It's hefty stuff. IPAs, I like IPAs, but I do feel like they were the West Coast variation of the IPA, which is, you know, more. It's the original IPA was already very hoppy and bitter, but the West Coast IPA is even more so of both. And I find that it's just kind of like the go-to beer for like beer snobs. You know, it's like people who really, really want beer to be like wine or something. You know, they like, you know, they're elitists. You know, people who don't want to drink beer, but they don't want people to think that they're into partying. You know, they drink IPAs, and it's because it's like by design it's like made to be less tasty. Now it has a good fuller flavor than a lager, but the bitterness is a lot for some people to handle. And even I kind of like shy away from it at times. Stouts are great. What I'd like to do is I like to get a stout, start out the night, you know, maybe two, and then the rest of the night are pitchers that alternate from, some kind of Deschutes IPA to like Drake's to maybe some kind of lager. Actually, come to think of it, maybe I do drink a lot of IPAs and I'm just kind of ales, right? Yeah, to come to think of it, maybe I don't drink, like, I like a Pilsner, but when I at a bar, or like like a dive bar, when I'm playing pool and darts and chatting and, I don't know, like smoking outside or whatever, between all of that, I usually just go for an ale. And that often just means an IPA. Because a lot of places they only have IPAs, it's the only ale they have. So I badmouth it, but I might actually have like a secret tolerance for it. Anyway, I'm going to hang up the phone. All right, it's been good. I hope I can just upload this thing for Pete's sake. It's been like the fourth. It's not worth the effort really, but I'll try to get more content in on the next one. It's gonna be the third, and I'll have to figure out the kinks. But thanks for tuning in. If you did, there's going to be a lot more of this to come because the last podcasting thing I did, the guy I was doing it with, he never really contributed the amount I contributed, and which would have been fine, but I actually put the onus on him to upload the content, and I think like I would have uploaded it because I contributed a lot to the. I took notes. I brought in. I had speaking points. Over talked him, but I out talked him, and I think he just kind of like didn't have any gusto for it, and so when I told him to upload it, he kind of like, because there was a good back and forth between me and him. And I had a lot of interesting ideas flying around in my head. Thank you, sir. So I'll do that. I hate to hang up, but I got it.